Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm not sure why I said that all creepy, I apologize. We are here with Sensei Wally. Let's get it. Sorry about that. Forgot to unmute. So I know you and I talked a little earlier during a pre-match talk, and I say this does depend entirely, and especially in the initial stages of the game. I'm thinking that SNA might have the edge early on in each of the matches, and Hull Crusher is just gonna have to adapt. SNA is very quick. Off the gun, trying to get the spots, trying to get the crossfires in right away. Hull Crusher is going to have their cruisers covering their destroyers per usual. Just business, another day at the office for them. I'm thinking it's a best of 5, right? I'm thinking it's going to be close, but I feel like 3-1 Hull Crushers.
You know, the X factor for me really is going to be Relaney. In his game versus One Ping Only, he had such a high impact on that game in the Delaware. He almost single-handedly won the match for them. So
Yeah.
if Hull Crushers can find a way to shut down Relaney and his effectiveness in that Delaware, I think they've got it. But if Relaney is allowed to do what he did versus OPO, SNA take it. I mean, really, you'd think he was in Louisiana with how good he was. Honestly, Delaware is. I was genuinely shocked with how good he was able to perform in that ship. Delaware is not my favorite. It's nowhere near as impactful as Louisiana was in Super Cup. But tell that to try telling that to Relaney, and he'll have a few words for you.
There's just some players that are so comfortable playing in certain ships that a lot of people had kind of talked about my Oostergotland pick in the Ocean Cup 3, and I performed really well in that ship for the majority of the matches that I played in it. And it's just one of those ships that I mean, Jankonomics questioned me on that. A lot of people questioned me on it. I'm just comfortable with that ship. That's something
Oh,
that I'm really
absolutely.
good. I'm just really good with that ship. I love it. Other ships in that tier just kind of meh. But there's for whatever reason that I fell in love with that ship. But he makes that Delaware look phenomenal, especially in this tier 8. I didn't see a Delaware in the last weekend do as good as it can. And I think a lot of it had to do with positioning. And both teams that I had interviewed last weekend said the same thing. If it's not spawned in the right area, it's going to be really tough to make it effective. So we'll see
And
if he
that's,
overcomes that.
yeah, that's what's so frustrating about these training match games, the training rooms. That is the spawn algorithm, and I've tested it. I've tried to come up with ways to make it work properly. I am like 90% convinced that you can manipulate spawns, but it depends. So far, I've found out that it depends on the order in which players enter the room. It depends on the order in which players are placed on the team. It depends on ship class, ship tier. Uh, it depends on map sometimes. Um, and it also depends. So if you load into your training room and play a few games versus an AI, and then put a human player on the other team, that will change it. So the variables that go into the spawn are so wildly well varied that it's almost impossible to reliably figure out where you're going to spawn, and it's so frustrating. I wish we could take those variables out of the competition here, because I think it would add another layer of strategy to this whole thing.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And then just to bounce off of that, it's not just Delaware. It's every single ship. Luckily, I think balance bonds has been a thing for most of this tournament. I haven't seen anything that was like lopsided. It's an 8v8, and a lot of times you'll see a destroyer at every cap if it's a 3-3-2 or 3-2-3 loadout, whatever it is for the teams. What I've noticed is that you got to destroy at every spawn. You're not like three destroyers on one side. Sometimes that you'll see in
Yeah,
standard. You haven't seen that in training rooms.
there have been very few games I've seen that people are going under uh, three destroyers, because with the 7 versus 7 tournament that we had been previously playing, you you know it's harder to fill all those destroyer slots, and it
Mm,
and it can make more sense to go with just the two destroyers. But now that we're getting closer and closer to the full 9 versus 9, um, it's a lot easier to fill out those destroyer slots and put one on every cap,
right.
which I think just makes the game better.
Yep.
The game is designed as a 9 versus 9. That's the way it. That's the best way to play the game, and I'm really looking forward to Winter Cup, which I believe is going to be a 9 versus 9 tournament.
Right. Yeah, with that carrier. And just to kind of bounce
Yeah,
off of what we
we,
talked
we
about
don't
earlier.
mention the C word
Yeah,
here.
my bad. um, you know, somebody in the chat says, "Hey Rambo, so in your opinion, what are each team's strengths and what are the keys to victory for each team?" So what I said was SNA is incredibly good at like clawing and scratching and trying to find that chink in your armor. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Trying to find out or what's your weakness, and then they put that knife in there and continue to press until your team just bleeds out. Like they're so good at that. Whereas Hall Crushers, on the other hand, they're more like, I don't care what kind of armor you got, I'm gonna try to go after you no matter what with everything that I got. They're incredibly aggressive, but they are also incredibly like thought out in terms of their strategy. So these guys have all, but both. Let me just say this: both teams have an incredible synergy amongst themselves. These guys have had a lot of battle experiences and a lot of games. Man, you just can't take away from that chemistry, and it's really hard to combat a team that may not have the skills individually to go 1v1 or whatever. But when you put them together, they're just an unstoppable force. Each team, this is going to be an exciting match.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It seems like we're waiting on one player here, just so everyone's aware. Um, we're getting closer and closer to getting ready to start, but we are still waiting on one player from Hulk Crushers, I believe.
What I've seen is a lot of these best of fives is like the team that takes that first game. It's it hasn't really always gone their way the rest of the series, but I mean, taking that advantage, any advantage you can get in this tournament, um, you know, whether it is taking out a DD and then you have one more DD than them, or taking out a battleship, then you got one. Any advantage that you could take is a win, and but to capitalize on that, and we've seen teams come back because they stayed focused. You might be down 2-0 and be in an elimination round 3 games in a row, but you can do it. It's not impossible. You staying focused is key, um, and just sticking to the game plan, trusting each other, and that's huge, man. A lot of these guys, you might have not met them in person. A lot of your teammates, you might have not met in person, but you trust them. And that's huge. If you can develop that during the scrims as muscle memory, trusting them that they're going to do their job, and I think the last person has joined up, so here we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The trusting your teammates is a huge deal. We've experienced some of that in UFO. You know, this. Oops. What is going on here? My OBS is all screwed up somehow. Uh-oh.
We got Chung Mu in here. Hey Toto, hey Don, Sheepy, Never Been in Flank, what's up Dom? Conquistador, Sam, Tweak, Salty, what's good? Reaper, Savage.
Uh, Sorry, you guys will have to bear with me here while I fix this. I don't know.
What happened?
Well, my OBS got all screwed up somehow.
Okay.
Oops. Well, it seems like, Relani is having some issues here, too.
Oh, for the stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now I'm looking at Hall Crusher's point of view. Did you want me to look at the other one?
No, keep going with that.
Okay.
To those who are watching my stream, I apologize about this. I don't know how this got screwed up. Some technical difficulties here.
And those will never go away. there's always something.
It's terrible.
Well, Chad, we're on board here with Senna in the main. No spotter plane. Catapult fighter, probably Arthas. More than likely Arthas. We're running Will to Rebuild, 13A Conceal. Same lineups for both teams, ship type anyway. But we got a Chungmu in there and a small end. One for each team. I believe that SNA is running Chungmu. Paul Crush is running Smallland. Yep, there's Admiral.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems that we're not going to have... Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. I'm just... All right. Never mind. I spoke too soon. My, I do have both streams. I just didn't have them set up properly. Okay.
Oh, did you have them in the same browser?
No, SNA wasn't on live, but
oh,
was.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, actually, I just had that happen to me right before I started streaming. I had SNA like pause for whatever reason. So
Okay.
They agree with you in the chat, saying Relaney is going to be the X factor here in these games with Delaware.
I know this is still screwball, guys, but we finally are very close to getting it all fixed.
Like Hull Crusher's overloading either side, holding middle with one DD.
There we go.
That DD better be incredibly good.
All right. So, now I can focus on the actual match at hand. Now that my OBS is all fixed.
Awesome. Oh, and there goes Ray Merck, spotted here at Alpha in the Petro. Seno aiming his shots.
Now, all right, I just want to point this out here. Shock and Awe in their last game played the other side. Okay, so Relaney is super well positioned because this was the position he played on CCAP in his last game. However, he played the opposite side of CCAP. Now it is similar, right? But it's not the same. Those angles are slightly different. It's not an exactly symmetrical map. There's a lot of similarities to his positioning and how he's going to play this, but it is not going to be the same, and we'll see how effective he's able to be. And oh man, this is what you got to watch this, because he is deadly accurate with his torpedo drops there, and he managed to take out destroyers early in 2 games. So watching those torpedo drops is going to be pretty key.
Ramsey's dodging that drop very successfully, but he's going to be caught out of position in a way. Going to be out into cover, or out of cover. Excuse me. Relaney with those shots on Petro. Bad dispersion. Might get one hit here though on the superstructure. Nope, gets 4,900 right off the bow. Torpedo's on its way. Should be able to dodge most of these. Maybe hit one.
So something I'm noticing here is Shock and Awe, their cruiser positioning, they're leaving the seaside kind of open in terms of cruisers. The DPM is not there. Really trusting Relaney to be the damage dealer on sea. Now, Shock and Awe have managed to flip the B cap, which is important for them, but Hull Crushers are stopping the points, so no real score advantage for either side. Yeah, Shock and Awe is up 12 points, but that's nothing in the terms of the game. You know, that could change in an instant. So the background scoring is still relatively the same. This Petro is in a great deal of danger here.
Oh man. And the own Delaware. Good torps hit. What was that 3 torpedoes Relaney hit on Petro?
It looks like 2.
Yeah.
I think he got 2. Yeah.
Oh, he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
Great dispersion from Delaware. Oh, done right through the nose. There goes Ramsey. Excuse me. Relaney with the first blood of the game. Hull Crusher's down that radar cruiser 6 minutes in almost.
All right. So they do lose the cruiser, but importantly, Hull Crushers have actually managed to flip both A and C caps. So they are up 2-1 in terms of cap background scoring. And this is going to be really key. If they can hold on to these caps and just rack up the score, it doesn't matter that Petro died that early. They can sit back and let the score rack up, and as long as they stay alive, you know, they're going to be fine. They're even managing to put some pressure on B cap here and start to flip it a little bit. Shock and Awe are doing a decent job of stopping the C cap from playing, claiming, you know, that point. The Hayate has a lot of room to maneuver here now that Petro, the radar cruiser, is gone.
Here comes Hull Crusher's drop. Delaware. Camden. Is this gonna hit? I don't know if it's gonna.
Is he gonna have enough room for those to arm?
No.
Ah, he misses anyways.
Great
Okay.
awareness from Melanie.
Absolutely. Now this is so something that I find
Oh
interesting
no!
here.
DD goes down for Hull Crusher's Lucian. Down at
Ooh, that's
Bravo.
rough. Yeah.
Now, in the
Lose.
beginning, not to interrupt you, but in the beginning, we noticed that Hull Crushers was overloading Charlie and Alpha, leaving one DD at Bravo. So now SNA has complete coverage and ownage of Bravo in that middle flank. So they can go to either side to help protect or to help cap those points. They're only up by 50 right now, but like you were saying, they got to
Losing
get
a
those points.
destroyer, losing a destroyer is never good, but losing the Lucian, especially with how powerful that ship is, I mean, that's a blow. That's worse than losing the Petro, in my opinion. You can recover from losing the Petro. Losing the Petro and the Lucian is tough to deal with. They're down on ship count and on background scoring now. Shock and Awe, I'm sorry, Hull Crushers, they're doing a fairly good job of trying to contest caps, but they're not getting much production out of their guns. And they need to, I mean, they really need to sink somebody here within the next few minutes, or Hull Crushers is going to run away with this.
Ooh, here comes a pretty decent drop of Hayate.
So, speaking of the Hayate, I find it quite interesting that a lot of teams have opted to bring the Hayate in as a third destroyer instead of something like the Z46. The most common picks I've seen so far, pretty much, have been Lucian, which is no surprise, obviously. Smallland, again, no real surprise. We are allowed that third radar in this tournament. But the third destroyer has somewhat surprised me. Yeah, Hayate is a really great destroyer. It's got great guns. It's got great torpedoes. It's got good concealment and good HP. But I just question running the Hayate over a Z46, where the Z46 has that extra spotting ability of the smoke sonar combination.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do Smolin, Lucian, Z46 for that extra utility. Ooh, Delaware getting hit with Sap for 10k.
Yeah, that Brindisi banging on the Delaware there, that's rough for Delaware. He has such a huge exposed superstructure, and the Sap will just eat that thing alive.
Another
Look at that.
15k.
That's like 15k, yep.
Ouch. Can Camden get away from these torpedoes?
He might take one, I think.
Yep. No flood there, 5,000.
This is SNA's best shot at taking somebody out. They really need to nail somebody to the wall here. If you look at Hull Crusher's point of view, Senna's shooting at the Lucian of.
There goes Salem.
Okay, that was rough.
That's huge. But see what I'm saying though? SNA early on, you know, it was basically 2-to-1 caps, but they're clawing. You know, they're trying to find that weakness, and they definitely exploited it right with that. First the Petro kill, then the DD kill, and now they're down 4 ships. Hull Crushers is, and SNA's up and rolling in this match. Now they're down all the caps. Yet,
yeah, this has been really interesting. The Shock and Awe have not controlled the caps at all this
and
game.
they haven't really needed to either.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Their production with the guns have just been phenomenal. I mean, up 4-to-1 in terms of ship count. That's hard to come back from. Near impossible.
Hayate's gonna go down here.
It looks like, yeah.
He's gonna have an amazing drop just waiting for him on the other side of that island. Let's see if that hits. If it, at the very least, it slowed him down a little bit. He saw the planes. And it's gonna be really close.
I don't think that's gonna hit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he
that was close.
by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, yeah. Danny doing a great job of mitigating damage while dealing it. So let's see if he's able to continue doing that for the rest of the round. There's 3 minutes left, but these shots look good. Not a bad
There's
salvo.
that magic French armor for you.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently unlocked Saint Louis. It is an incredible ship. It has such a fantastic HE output. That thing is a very, very good ship. And it is no surprise that people are running it in this tournament.
Oh, those 2 shells on the left. Yes. SNA taking Bravo, though, contesting all the other caps. Now Hull Crusher's not gaining any points. 2 minutes and 25 seconds left in the match. It's a 9v4.
Yeah, the early production from Shock and Awe in terms of their guns is allowing them to take up a ton of map control here in the late game, and flip all these caps and just take control really of the entire game. Hull Crushers is spread way too thin at this point, and they just can't control any single point in the map. You know, there's the Saint Louis trying his best, but I mean, I really doubt that this is gonna come back from anything. Hull Crushers would really need a miracle here. And Relaney even has a heal left. I mean, that's just crazy. He's done very well in managing his heals and his health and trading his HP very effectively.
And he knows that Hayate's still out there in the middle, so he doesn't want to use up too much of his DCP's opportunities.
Yeah, he hasn't had as many torpedo strikes in this game, but I think his torpedo strikes have still been as effective.
Yeah, because they respect it, so they stay away.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. Yeah.
Obviously, they took down the Petro early, but using those torpedo strikes as a way to corral the Hull Crushers players where he wants them to be.
Yep.
It's really a masterclass in using these hybrid battleships.
It was a 4v2 situation at Charlie for SNA. They had Relaney with the DD at Charlie, and they were able to hold Hull Crushers on this side and then take out the Petro. I mean, that is incredibly huge. And I think that in hindsight, obviously looking back, the Petro was a little too aggressive, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Relaney was here. He launched torpedoes, or the planes, and he pushed that Petro out of cover, having them go forward. Then he had to go forward even more because the DD launched torps. So now he's out in the open and just taking a bunch of damage, and Petro's not very nimble, so just great job from SNA. Strong win. It's 1-0. Take the lead here.
Yeah, Hull Crushers seemed to not really have an answer for Shock and Aw's just excellent control of being able to take out, who they needed to take out. This Hull Crushers really need to figure out how they're going to. Well, Hull Crushers did a really good job in controlling the caps early. They did a not as great job staying alive.
Yes, 100% agree.
If they had stayed alive for longer, that could have gone a very different way.
Yeah.
And they didn't even need to necessarily take out anyone from Shock and Awe. They just needed their own ships to stay alive.
Stay alive and defend. Yep. We'll switch on over to Hull Crusher's point of view for this next round here, but SNA taking a commanding lead in 1-0. That was a very, very dominant performance from them on that map. It's a tough map. I mean, it's such a it's a map that's so wide that like you have to spread your ships, and the way the SNA did it was kind of risky, leaving those 2 ships on the far left side. But they did have the middle flank balanced out so that it was able to cover both sides, whereas Hull Crushers they isolated the DD in the middle, so they only had one ship in the middle. So SNA had map control basically the entire game, even though they only had one cap for the most part.
I don't know if you saw that, but Shock and Awe are running an Izumo as their second battleship here.
Did they run that the first game? I don't even notice.
They ran an Izumo in their previous match on Warrior's Path. I don't think they did it on Land of Fire.
Okay.
I believe the last game they just played, I want to say they ran like a Republique, I believe. Yeah, they ran a Republique. It was a Republique and a Delaware. So they're switching out the Repub for the Izumo, which I don't know. I don't know too much about Izumo. It's got that
no armor
gun setup in
Yeah.
front,
Right.
you know, and it's got the Japanese dispersion calculator, you know, where it does better at longer ranges. But I don't know. It's not my favorite pick.
It's a tough ship to position because yeah, it has all the guns in the front, but you have to angle a certain way to get them all in line, and when you do that, you show some cheek, it's over with.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot like linen as far as I'm aware.
well, in yeah, so the gun placement, yes, but the armor scheme, it's so chunky you can hit it anywhere for like 10k. It doesn't matter. It's very
Okay.
it's not heavily armored at all.
Doesn't have an icebreaker.
No, it's fast though. I mean, that's the one thing that it is. It is fast. But
playing with fire there, going kind of almost broadside. He's lucky that the Delaware didn't have really a shot. Well, maybe he does. I mean, Senna's able to angle a little bit more.
able to mitigate only 3k there. Not bad.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So on Hall Crusher's point of view, looking at Senna here, he sees Relaney, but he's he's such a good he's so good at like positioning himself so that people don't shoot at him right away. Relaney is a master at that. Very tough to get him out of there.
I think this one is going to be really interesting because I don't think Relaney is in a very good position to be able to make full use of his torpedo drops here. I think this is a suboptimal spawn for Shock and Awe.
And I think what he might be trying to do though is help cover the middle, at least for now.
Yeah,
because he's sneaky.
On that Salem.
Yep, he's sneaky. I'm watching those planes, and there they go.
Salem does have that ridiculous AA. Let's be real, and Salem also has a.
I didn't see it.
Did
he hit anything?
Nope, no hits.
Okay.
No hits on the Salem. No real movement on any of these caps so far. Being contested by both teams, all three caps. Everybody's pretty much playing it safe right here to start with.
Chungmu Torps on
smart,
Delaware.
Obviously.
Looks like he hits 2.
Ooh. Yeah.
Not
That's
bad.
Rough.
Pushing him out of there.
Relaney does take quite a chunk of damage there,
yep.
and is probably going to be forced to use his DCP.
And as defensive as his position was to kind of conceal his health, or conserve his health a little bit, it actually kind of backfired given the fact that he didn't have a DD right in front of him to spot those torpedoes so that he could move out of the way, and that DD came in a little late from the middle. But no spots here from Senna.
Well, and this is key here because Senna is moving into position to flank on the Delaware and Salem.
Yeah.
He's recognized that there's a hole here that he can take advantage of, and he's just remaining unspotted for as long as possible.
Yep.
This is a really, really key play here. Yeah, popping that radar to keep the destroyer off of the A cap for as long as possible. Hull Crushers want Senna to be, you know, dark for until he pops out around that corner and just demolishes that Salem.
Here's the key though for Senna for this strategy right here. This is a great strategy, but for it to work, he needs to take out the Delaware first, because otherwise, what's going to happen is he's going to have, that RNG effect on the Salem. Hopefully not, but that Delaware's going to have enough time to launch those planes and wither him down.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. The the Delaware is
It's
a
right there,
key factor here.
broadside to him.
Yes, Senna. Ooh, I don't know. I think he needs to take that shot at that Delaware.
Yeah,
There it is. There's the shot.
yeah.
I think Relani is moving forward. Yeah. And their Senna is spotted, so they know the jig is up. They know what's going on.
Yeah. And here comes the
Salem
planes.
is in a great deal of danger here.
Oh, he's able to run them. Nice.
In the meantime, while we're watching this unfold on the ACAP, Shock and Awe have managed to flip both B and C. So they are up in terms of ship count, or in terms of the background scoring here.
Yeah.
Salem of Sky Pilot is doing his best to stay alive for as long as possible. He might have to ram the cruiser just to get something out of this engagement.
Looks like the Salem from middle is crossfiring here on that left side.
This is such a great move from Senna here to force SNA to react to this. And closing the distance on the Delaware means that Relania is going to have a much harder time aiming those torpedo drops.
That's a good point. Delaney down to 50% health. Senna's still in very, very decent shape, but that DD is out there somewhere. He has to make sure that he doesn't get hit with torps. And the planes are back.
Yeah, this is such a smart move by Relani. He knows he's not going to get anything on the main, so he's trying to help out his Salem. Hit the Petro with some torpedoes. But that's just incredible game awareness.
Here comes a DD here at Alpha now challenging.
If Relani is able to trade out the Petro, this is a win for him.
Ooh, massive hit on Relani.
Yeah, that's
great
rough.
dodge from torps too.
I don't know if he's going to be able to take out this Petro. This is going to be tight. I think he's trying to go for a ram on the main as well, and Senna knows it.
And there he goes, Senna with the first blood of the game. Now up by 40 points, down 2 caps.
That was an incredible move there by Senna. That flank that worked out very well. It could have been better for Hull Crushers, but taking out Relani, I mean, that's such an incredible hit there, and they've managed to do quite a bit of damage to the Salem.
Salem's kind of out of position now that he pushed, but they did cap A. 7 minutes left in game 2. SNA up 1-0 to Hull Crushers. Oh, and here comes Sky Pilot, gonna take a torp. Gonna get more hits from the Salem, and I think he might be done here. And he is. Panzerschreck with the second kill for Hull Crushers. Hull Crushers now up by 100.
This is what Hull Crushers needed.
That aggression.
Yep. That flank from Senna was so perfectly timed to take out the A-cap. Now they should be able to control this cap very easily. There's a destroyer left, but you've got the Petro here, and you've got your own destroyer. They should have no problems in flipping A-cap and controlling it for basically the rest of the game.
Yeah. Check out the map, too. It's a straight line of ships for Hull Crushers.
Absolutely.
Just that synergy that we were talking about.
And Hull Crushers, again, have done an excellent job in this map of controlling the caps for, as much as possible. So not only are they up in ship count at this point, but I believe they are up in the background scoring. So shock and awe is on the back foot in this match for sure.
Hayate spotted for SNA.
Yeah.
Shots from Senna. Here we go.
This is an important kill for SNA. They need
Oh, and
to
here
take
comes the
out
torps.
this Hayate. Ooh, I think that's gonna do it. Oh, does he miss? Oh, he barely misses the hit. Oh, they needed that. Shock and Awe really needed that kill on that Hayate.
And
now they're going to lose their own
Here comes the dominoes. Yep.
Oof, yeah.
5 minutes left.
Not only do they not take out the destroyer for Hull Crushers, but they also lose one of their own destroyers. That was a big blow.
And Azumo in the far back. And as you said, it's a lot more effective at max range.
Yeah, I don't think the Azumo has had a very big effect in this game so far.
Ouch.
I don't really understand the pick. And it's funny because in their last game they didn't play an Azumo on this map.
Okay.
You know, I believe they stuck with the Republique, which is a much better fit for the map overall.
Yeah.
Petro of Ray Mercs looks like he's in a lot of trouble on Shock and Awe here.
And there he goes.
300. Yep, there it is. I think you're like 3 seconds ahead of me.
Well, it looks like Hull Crushers is a little bit more ahead. That's why I'm like, I see that. It could be with like what they're streaming from.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of having our players stream to YouTube is we have a lot of control. So I've got mine synced up together. I mean this one is let's be real. This one is done and dusted. There's you know they're just Hull Crushers is just putting a ribbon on top at this point.
Yeah, and this is basically like almost mirroring that first game.
Yeah,
it's crazy. As we said, we predicted that it was going to be interesting.
Yeah, Shock and Awe really controlled that first game, and Hull Crushers goes, okay, well we can do it too. And again, you know, as I said in the start of the game, Relaney not being able to be effective in this second game has really hampered their efforts.
It's a tough spot for Delaware. There's like there's just no cover, and you try to get to that island, but there's just no cover for him.
Yeah, it's a rough spot for a battleship to play.
There goes Volundra. Zumo broadside to Senna. Senna taking the shots. He does turn in time though. Still does like. And there goes Nelson.
And it's just down to the lone Azumo. The key on this one, Hull Crushers played their game, and that aggression, like you said, on that A-cap, that was the turning point of the game.
That's what they're good at.
As soon as Senna popped around that corner, the Salem was screwed. Relaney had huge issues. I mean, not being able to stop that aggressive push really put the hurt on Shock and Awe. And then and it just so, you know, the spawns being unfavorable for the Delaware. If that's the Azumo in that spot, I think that Shock and Awe have a chance of bringing it back. Because I think that the Delaware can be a lot more effective on the other side. But, you know, like we said, those spawns in these the training rooms are just so unpredictable. A fourth map at the very least. I would love to see all 5. Let's be real, that'd be amazing. We should be on Warrior's Path, I believe, right?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's Warrior's Path. Warrior's Path is an interesting one. There's a lot more room for some wacky plays here. And again, depending on where the Delaware spawns, it may or may not be extremely effective. I think, well, I think the map in general is kinder to Delaware no matter where it spawns. There's more island cover. There's more places where the torpedo drops can be used.
Right.
Oh, Crash Zone. I'm sorry. We're on Crash Zone actually. I forgot about Crash Zone. So forget what I was saying. Delaware is useless on Crash Zone. The Crash Zone is so wide open. The only place that Delaware can be useful, and I stress can be useful, is on the A cap. And even then, it's not that great. As good as Relaney is in the Delaware, he didn't do anything on Crash Zone in their last matchup. And it allowed one ping only to take the map. And if I were Shock and Awe, I wouldn't be bringing the Delaware, even though you've got a ringer who plays it. I just don't think it's worth it. I think bringing something else like a Maine or a Missouri, something with more consistent firepower, is a far better choice on this map.
Okay.
They are going to stick with the Delaware, but I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, just because of the fact that, like, I mean, I will say I've seen Delaware be efficient on the A cap, but I don't remember if is this a 4 cap map for training rooms? No. Is it a 3?
No, it's 3. But if you just to interject here,
yep.
Hulk has not brought the Delaware. They've gone for a Maine and a Missouri, or not Missouri, Maine and Minnesota.
Minnesota, yes.
And that's absolutely the right choice. In
yes.
my opinion.
Yep, I agree with that.
And in terms of those specific ships, I think either one of those is pretty interchangeable with like a Republic. And that's where it comes down to ship preference. Republic, Maine, Minnesota, all 3 of those battleships have really similar firepower and ability. The Republic is a little less armored, but it has, if you have Azur Lane, Dunkirk especially, you've got the Master Mechanic, so the survivability is not really an issue.
Right. So he has HP loaded right away.
Yeah. As far as I could tell, no real shakeups in terms of like destroyer or cruiser lineups. The Hull Crushers brought the Saint Louis, I believe, and the Shock and Awe are sticking with the Brindisi.
Okay.
Which I actually, okay. On that point specifically, I think the Brindisi is a better choice because Brindisi has Crash Zone is a bigger map, right? And it's a more open map. Both of those ships do quite well in open water, but Brindisi has more range by a little over a kilometer, I think. And you know, I like Saint Louis, and I've played it fairly extensively, and on this map, and it can do well, absolutely. I just think the Brindisi is easier to do well in on this map specifically.
Some shots here from Senna on Donskoy.
Those look good. Donskoy is turning out. Is he going to get anything? No, it doesn't look like it. That's always disappointing. The Lucian from Hull Crushers is taking a decent amount of damage. Not what you want to see, really.
Not this early, and I know you got the 2 really good heals, but you got to conserve that HP throughout the game. There's 15 minutes, and you don't have a whole lot of HP within that time. So, SNA though taking Bravo. Bravo being now contested by Hull Crushers. ANC still wide open, wild cards. Gasser now spotted over there at Bravo. Torpedoes from Elney.
If you take a look at the Hull Crushers mini-map, the Destroyer out way wide on A, I love that move. Being able to get spotting and map control out there on the surface doesn't seem super important, but being able to control all that open space can give you such a huge advantage on the A cap that it's almost necessary to put a destroyer out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's a 1v1 destroyer situation going on over there in that little corner that you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the 2 cruisers are kind of they're there.
Yep,
waiting.
Yep. Shock and Awe has decided to do kind of the same thing with their destroyer. I really like to see that from both teams. So Shock and Awe does have a tiny background scoring lead, but the Hull Crushers is again doing a very good job of trying to contest these caps. They've been really consistent about that over these past few games. Senna does take a pretty good chunk out of the Donskoy there. That Donskoy, I'm not in love with how he's playing. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't love that he's kind of on an island by himself over there. If the Louisiana, or I'm sorry, if the Delaware had been positioned out on that flank as well to back up the Donskoy, I think that might have been a better position for the Delaware.
What do you think of the position of the Hulk cruiser on that bottom left-hand side?
I don't mind it, and I don't mind it specifically because he's got a main literally right behind him.
I'm sorry. On the bottom left-hand corner of the map for Hull Crushers, there's a tiny little island down there with that cruiser.
Yep.
What do you think of that spot there?
I think that's pretty standard.
Okay.
Putting a larger capital ship in that, there's just enough
oh boy,
island cover on that A cap to put one of your
Sky Pilot might go down
ships.
Here. Yep, yeah, there he goes. That's a death strike right there, man. Ouch.
Yep.
Jesus. Massive hit from Senna, dude. Just unspotted shots are very dangerous.
the Donskoy being out there by himself, he's taking all that focus fire. And, you know, if you put Louisiana out there, I keep calling it Louisiana. If you put Delaware out there with the Donskoy, not only do you have 2 targets for your enemies to spread their shots out on, but you also have an extra set of guns, and in this case torpedoes, to force Hull Crushers back. If you take a look at Relaney's screen here, he's got 3 main gun hits, no damage, and nothing else. He has not been able to affect this game in any way, shape, or form so far.
And you predicted that before the game started. You're like, this is not a good map for. And it's not Relaney's fault necessarily.
No,
like it's
not.
just a ship. It's just the way it is.
Well, the one thing that is the fault of Shaka in general, I don't think he's been put in a good position.
I agree with that.
But to add to that, Crash Zone is not a good map for Delaware.
Oof. Admiral Gasser taking 50% right off of his HP there, or getting 50% taken off his HP.
Was that the Lucian, I think?
The Smolin for Hull Crushers. He's in that corner down there.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw that shot.
A great shot from that cruiser, man.
Yeah.
Camden controlling the middle. Looks like Hull Crushers just commanding this map right now.
Oh, absolutely. They have all 3 caps. Putting their excellent use of controlling these caps in practice here. This is something that they've clearly practiced and put a lot of intentional thought into and focus on, is doing their absolute best to control the caps. And they've been very effective at it in all 3 of these games so far. I think Shakana has done a fairly admirable job of trying to contest the caps, but Hull Crushers has done a better job.
Yeah, the DD for SNA had on Charlie flank had to rotate all the way around because of that Petro and Lucian combination here at Charlie. They just not been able to capitalize on this left flank. This is basically now their weak side, and they have to win that other side as fast as they can. 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the round, down 200 points and 2 caps. Can SNA pull off a victory here in Game 3?
Yeah, I mean, Relaney has to get in the game. That's it. You know, he's got to get something here, or they're just gonna bleed this game away.
Concentrate fire on the designated target.
Hull Crushers now capitalizing on the Charlie cap, and they're going up and around, trying to funnel these guys back towards the middle and take even more map control. Unspotted shots from that left side. Petro, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
4 Hull Crushers.
Yeah, that is the Petro of Ramses.
Senna's still out there lurking.
Yeah, I like this decision of Hull Crushers to split up the
the
Senna and the Petro, and try and create some sort of crossfire and put even more pressure on Relaney.
4 hits, still no damage for Relaney. That's tough,
Yeah, that's
man.
rough.
I feel for him.
Shock and Awe have to make something happen now. I mean, the time really was 5 minutes ago, but if they don't make something happen right now, they are going to lose this match. And that something has to be a ship kill, flipping both caps. I mean, they have to make something drastic happen.
Oh,
Not
Michael
that.
Sindri, no! That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that
God
was
dang it.
drastic, but that was the wrong direction for Shock and Awe.
Oh, man.
That honestly, that probably is the nail in the coffin at this point.
Senna sees Relani's not gonna stay broadside for long.
And where is the destroyer that was up there on C cap for?
SNA or
He's
for
he's in the cap. Okay.
yep for
Hull Crushers.
yep. He's just defending the cap. Smart move by him. He didn't have to overextend at all. He stayed by his teammates, waited for them to rotate, continued spots for him, and I think Petro might take some torpedoes here from Mulaney.
Yeah,
Lucian now spotted.
A lot of players would see the opportunity of,
Got two of them.
They've controlled the side. They can put their destroyer out wide to torpedo the Delaware, but leaving the destroyer
Lucian's
in the
trouble,
middle,
man.
like you said, really smart move. Just to not overextend. Make sure you control what you need to control. You've got the game in the bag. Don't make a mistake. And that was, like you said, a very smart move.
Yeah, no need to push. I know you got the advantage positionally and in terms of ship numbers, but you don't want to make a mistake. This is comp. It's not standard where you're trying to get the XP. You're just trying to get the dub, man.
Absolutely.
Just be smart about it. Shots on that DD. And Petro, Ramsey's just not in a good spot. He can shoot over that island there. Oh, massive hit on Petro.
Oof, yeah.
He overextended there a little bit.
He is able to take some damage off of Relani in return. That AP on Petro is nothing to sneeze at.
No, not at all.
But yeah, he needs to back off there, and he can die, and they'll still be fine. But you don't want that to happen, obviously.
Right. Admiral Gasser at Bravo might go down here. He does not. He beats the Chungmu. And just like that, Hull Crushers gain the advantage again in the middle. Ramsey spotted now by Delaware.
Are Shock and Awe going to be able to get even one kill here?
I don't think so, man. The only one that might be able to get one is Relani. Oof, massive hit from Ramses.
Yeah, him having to basically give broadside.
1v3 in a way.
Yep.
Oh.
This is rough.
Ouch.
And I mean, this is what I'm saying, about this Delaware. Relani has just not been able to affect this match in any way, shape, or form.
No, they were able to mitigate that really well. You got to give credit to Hull Crushers, though, man. They kind of made his position obsolete very quickly once they captured Charlie.
Yeah, their positioning on that Charlie cap was excellent. Recognizing that the Donskoy was basically by himself, and repositioning Senna to help take out that Donskoy. Very smart move, and excellent positioning by Hull Crushers. So Hull Crushers take the third game. So we are on 2-1. And now we should be on Warriors' path.
SNA in that elimination round now. And this is what I was talking about before these matches started, was this is where the chemistry of your team is tested. This is where the trust that everyone's doing their job, they know what they're supposed to be doing, and you trust them to do it. You trust yourself to get your job done. They just got to stick with it, man. They're one game away from elimination, but they can still continue to fight in this last game and make it a game 5.
And here's the really important part. Warriors' path is far more friendly to Relani and his Delaware.
Yep.
So, especially if he spawns in the right spot, he could very easily make a big difference on this map here. Rogue Buccaneer, thanks for the raid, dude. We are watching Ocean Cup quarterfinals. Hull Crushers versus Shock and Awe. It is a best of 5 series here, and Hull Crushers have taken the first 2 maps. Oh, I'm sorry. Shock and Awe took the first map. Hull Crushers took the second 2 maps. We are getting ready to load into our map number 4. Could be our final, but I don't know. I kind of think that Shock and Awe may have a bit of an advantage here. They did such an excellent job in their previous game on this map. I think this one is Shock and Awe's map to lose, honestly.
I think the key on this map especially is the DDs, man. I know, like I say that in every game, but this one especially is one of those that if you lose even just one, that map has such wide flanks that like you're just not going to be able to cover the ground with a radar cruiser, and they don't really have much of radar coverage other than the Petro. Salem has good radar, but you got to get a little closer. I think it's 9-9, right? I always get the 2 mixed up.
Salem?
Yeah.
Salem has an 8.5 radar.
8.5, okay.
Petro has the Russian 11.7
Yep.
radar.
And they got Smallland.
Smallland is 7.5.
Yep.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. The destroyers are the most important piece of the game. And we've seen so many maps and games here where one team might lose a destroyer early, and it really hurts them.
Especially on this one, there's just so much open water. They gotta stay alive. The team in this one that makes the least amount of mistakes is gonna win this. So, and that's been the case in every single match.
Absolutely.
Laney spawning at Alpha. 3-3-2 spawn from left to right for SNA. Cruiser and Destroyer combo at Charlie.
So this is an interesting one. I think the Delaware does a little bit better on CCAP, but importantly, the Delaware is on the flank, which is where Relani can really shine. I think if Relani is on that B cap there, I don't think he has as good of a time. But this A cap should give him some pretty favorable angles here to use those torpedo strikes. And interestingly enough, on the opposite side, the Hull Crushers have taken a Delaware again, and their Delaware is heading towards that C cap. Nobody coming in
Ramsey
super
spotted.
crazy here with their initial positionings. An interesting note here is both teams are kind of leaving a fairly wide channel in between A and B open. And that is partly just due to how the map plays out. It's kind of a natural, progression of the map. And look at this. Already, we are 2 minutes into the game, and Relani has had more impact on this map already than he was.
And
really
a lot of it had to do with this is giving me PTSD from game 1 where Petro had to push in because of those torpedoes. You gotta stay behind the island. Let your DD in front of you, man. Let him spot for you. Let him give you the positioning that you need, or at least the information that you need to position better. Because right now you're already down to half health.
I think this is an overextension from our Petro here.
100%.
the mistakes, and this is we're watching one of them unfold right in front of us.
Yep.
Petra has very Petra has overextended quite a bit. Hull Crushers is trying to smoke up the Petra, which is a pretty good move. I like that they're able to get that cover for him. So the Petra won't die quite yet, but he's taken a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm. Senna with some shots on Relaney. Oh, whoa!
Ooh,
Massive
that
hit.
hurt.
I think it was that. Oh my god.
Yeah, but
That was that commander perk, man. Holy.
well, and the hybrids have a larger HP pool in their
right.
raised superstructure. And that being the first hit, you know, the superstructure wasn't saturated yet. So yeah, he probably took about all the HP out of that superstructure to begin with.
Jeez.
Big hit, but now his Relaney's superstructure isn't going to be as prone to those kinds of big booming shots.
No. Hull Crushers, though, contesting, or at least taking Alpha, contesting Bravo. Charlie taken by SNA.
Yeah, this is really important here.
Oh.
Shock and Awe have done a much better job so far in this match of making sure they're contesting these caps properly. They flipped the C cap and are in position to potentially flip B cap. So yeah, it's still fairly early in the game, obviously, but I would give Shock and Awe a pretty solid edge here in this match right now.
I'm just glad that Petra was able to kind of get concealed and then get his health kind of back a little bit, because that was that, like I said, it gave me PTSD from that first game, because in that first game he turned that corner and he just had to go forward.
He overextended, but
Yeah.
he was able to correct his mistake, which is the most important thing.
That might be really huge late game, man.
Absolutely.
If they would have lost that Petra on that left side, that's almost a dub on this left side for SNA.
Yeah.
Lucian now back into Alpha for Hull Crushers, but Aditi's rotating from Bravo for SNA on this, from that right side Alpha, pushing in. It's going to be a 1v1 situation, but Relaney's right here with him. And now Lucian's pushed out. Might have launched torpedoes and booked it out of there. Planes are back for Relaney.
I almost wonder if Relaney might be making an overextension himself here. I'm not too sure about this push.
Oh, and there goes Valandra for SNA.
Ooh, that was a hard one to lose.
That was a disgusting hit from Relaney. Unbelievable.
Oh my god, yeah.
How much was that? Like 30k? 35?
Well, I think he got the Citadel on the main and also hit Petra with a torpedo at this exact same time.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Good cap control for SNA, even though they lost a DD. They're up by 40 points. And here's torpedoes from the right. That overextension. That Hayate torps?
Probably.
Oh, yep. Ouch.
Wow.
Great torps from Hayate.
Wow. Really fantastic torpedoes from Hayate.
I think those were for Chung Mu too. Ouch, man.
Yep.
That hurts.
Now Shock and Awe, they're not out of this, in my opinion, but the tables have turned quite solidly. They could deal with losing the destroyer. Losing the destroyer and the Delaware, that's rough. Shock and Awe need to get somebody off the board here in order to stay in this.
What's kind of crazy is right now. Okay, so here's the situation. They got SNA has cap control with one being contested. Okay, so they're getting cap points from A and C. They have map control as well, but for how long? Because they're down those two ships, those two crucial ships. Volumdra and Relani are veterans in this game, and that's I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome that. And how long are they going to be able to hold out to a full strength Hall Crusher team? But he does get the kill there on small end.
That was an important kill, taking out the small end of Hull Crushers.
Yep.
Getting that ship parity back. They're trying to focus this Petro down really hard. Especially if they can get this kill, the game is, I mean, it's on again.
Petro might go down 2 fires,
like
man.
Yep, he's got a double fire that might be no, he does have the damage control. Doesn't matter.
But Azumo's like, I don't care.
Oh,
that's
my
enough
God.
out of you.
This is a close one. Ooh, this one might go down to the wire.
I think Petro, again, should have probably just stayed back in there. They didn't need to push yet.
Yeah.
They were up by points. But
Now,
again, we don't know what the comms are. But, oh, man. This might hurt.
Background scoring is wildly in favor of Shock and Awe at this point.
Yes. But all 3 caps now are being contested, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what you were probably going to say.
Hull Crushers are realizing that they haven't paid as much attention to this cap control this game and are trying to rectify their mistake. And I think that's the right thing to do here.
Yes.
Hull Crushers Shock and Awe putting some pressure on this B cap. I don't know the health situation of that. Oh, look at that cruiser. Just to the right side of the B cap, he's got like no HP. He's probably 1-2 shots from being dead.
Let's just take a quick second here and appreciate Relani for the overhead view, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Torpedoes from Chungmu. See if they connect here with that cruiser.
Izumo making a bold move here. I think it could backfire, but
massive.
look at that. Yeah.
And I think he might not be able to slow down for these torps.
I don't mind that move actually. Well.
Oh, here
maybe
comes.
I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Here comes
Yeah.
the Hall Crushers special crossfires.
Ooh,
and focus fire,
Izumo
man.
Just goes down so fast. I mean, he's gonna.
Telling you, it does. When you get done with this, like check out the armor on this thing. It's
They trade the
so
Salem.
bad.
They trade
Yep,
the Salem.
that's good.
Important.
That's very important.
Keeping this close.
You need RAM.
Shock and Awe also managed to flip the. Stop the what you call it, the B cap from being flipped.
Senna with the kill on Azumo. That's clutch as hell, dude. He was about to ram.
Being able to stop that ram was very important.
What a slap fest in this match.
Yeah, crazy. Shock and Awe have lost their both their battleships, and they might be about to lose one of their cruisers. No.
Oh, it went right over.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man. See, first game it was all SNA. Second game all Hall Crushers. Third game basically all Hall Crushers, and then this one is like a 50-50 toss up, man.
This is back and forth.
I like it.
Forth. Hull Crushers are gaining the momentum here, though. They've got the HP advantage with 2 battleships still alive.
Here comes the Torps. He didn't slow down for them.
Oh my god.
Oh
he's got a
man.
Fire on. He's gonna take 2 torpedoes, maybe a flood.
Camden.
Okay, there's the damage control.
And here comes
He took
kill on
a lot
the
of damage, but he's not gonna die from it.
No. At least not yet. Gotta let your DD get in front of you and scan.
Shock and Awe trying to flip A-cap back. They've got no presence really on C. This is, I mean, it's
Oh,
Hull
man.
Crusher's game right now, honestly. Hull Crushers is pretty much caught up on the background scoring and now about to put,
And there goes Nelson.
Oof, yeah.
2 minutes left, guys. Game number 4. Hull Crushers up
Delaware on
2-1.
Hull Crusher's Delaware on a triple fire, and with some torpedoes coming his
Yeah,
way,
there's no way he dodges these.
this could be the evening blow here. St. Louis in a dance with, what is that?
Oh, Ray,
Metro or
dude.
something?
Yeah.
I mean, the key thing here is that Shock and Awe don't have control of these caps. The Hull Crushers have it.
And this DD
So-
might lose this fight against Aleutian.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he will. That was a massive hit.
Absolutely.
Okay, RNG. Come on. There we go.
Yep.
Tanner cleaning that up. Great job.
Yep. I think Hull Crushers should be able to take this here. It's not over. But
No, it's not. It's so crazy. It's right down to the wire, man. SNA gonna take 2 caps. Looks like one's contested, actually, at A. I don't think Ray knows. Is he paying attention?
Have a reload booster. That's the important thing in that engagement.
Right. Sky Pilot taking on that PD. Oh, they're gonna ram?
Oh, the
Wow.
trade. Probably the right move for Hull Crusher.
Yes, 1000%.
30 seconds left. Can Shock and Awe get enough kill? I think they just need 1 kill to take it.
And Lucian is
Can
so
they get
close to
it?
going down. Shots from Sky Pilot. Can they be clutch? He does get the hits. Oh, and their DD as well.
Oh,
Panzer's 1 shot.
oh no.
Oh. Oh,
Barely
man.
escapes with his life.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man, that was down to the wire.
Oh,
Hull Crushers
man.
do take it. Just barely. Wow.
Gotta be kidding me. If I was, listen, yep, I'm just gonna say, if I was him, I'd be so pissed. Dude, get me out this
Yeah.
game. Because he was
Yeah.
so dead. He hit him 2 more times even after that, like, man, that sucks. I've been there, man. DDs would be like 1 shot, and you get 2 hits, incapacitations. Thanks, game. No damage.
Yeah.
Oh, man. GG's, both teams. Just fantastic action all the way up until the end. I did predict the 3-1 Hull Crushers, but that it was going to be close, and it was close. It wasn't the close that I thought it would be. I thought that every game was going to be close, but there was a few games there that were just completely lopsided. And I think what you were talking about, you know, credit to what your prediction was with Delaware, was that there are these matches where it was going to be really good, and other matches where it wasn't going to click because of the position. Like, it's just harder to position that ship on certain maps.
Well, and especially on that last game there, I think Relaney, unfortunately, made a pretty big mistake in that last game, overextending past the island in the middle of ACAP and taking that huge mess of Hayate torps. If he stays alive there, they probably take down Petro, and they still have the Delaware able to duke it out with the what was it, the Maine,
Yeah.
or Minnesota, and the game goes far differently for
Yeah.
me if Delaware stays alive there.
What were some of those key takeaways from this series that you found incredibly, like some moments, I should say, that were turning points?
I mean, it's funny because when you look back on matches, a lot of the times, even though it doesn't feel like it in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
you can pinpoint those. Oh yeah, that was it. Um, and some of them are really obvious, and some of them are less obvious. Like I said in our game on Warriors Path, um, that one was back and forth a lot, but the most important moment was when Relaney died to those torpedoes.
Yep.
Shock and Awe never really recovered from that. Yeah, they got some good kills. They got some, they they kept it very close and very competitive,
Right all the way to the end. Yep.
but they weren't able to recover. Um,
Even before that, they lost their small end. I think
yeah,
Volumdra. They lost Volumdra.
yeah, but that
That was rough.
that you can deal with losing the small end. You're only down one ship. It's still fairly early in the game. Relaney is being far more effective in his Delaware. At that point in the game, it looked like the Petro of Ramses was going to go down really easily, and he
Mm-hmm.
did end up going down. But to throw a wrench in things, Relaney also went down, and that was the key moment. So um, I think overall this series illustrates how important ship picks on specific maps can be. The Delaware was not the right choice for Crash Zone, and um, had Shock and Awe taken a more conventional battleship like Republic or uh, Maine or Minnesota or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um, they could have done a lot more with it.
Right. I think for
Because
me, one of the biggest takeaways was both teams were exactly what you and I had kind of illustrated early on. Was you have one methodic, strategic, like silent killer team, where you have this other one that's this directed aggression team, and it just made the game like. I guess it does make sense now looking back as to why the games were lopsided, because when you have one team that is a little bit more careful and methodical and watching your moves, trying to see what weaknesses you got going on, kind of feeling you out, right? When you got one team that does that and another team that just bulldozes through the caps, with a lot of support, support on support, like layers of support.
yeah. Well,
What?
and a really good illustration of that specifically is Land of Fire.
Yep, exactly what I was thinking of too.
That a push by Senna in the Minnesota to make sure he wasn't spotted doing that, and the support that he got from his radar cruiser to drive back the destroyer, in order to keep the battleship unspotted, is incredibly fantastic teamwork there.
Oh, were there supposed to be interviews? I didn't see a list.
I
Normally,
don't know.
because JY is asking me right now
Yeah, if he wants to,
if
if we
there
want
is
to,
Senate. Oh,
that'd be cool. That'd be
okay.
really cool.
Join
Are
voice.
we popping into a different
I think
voice channel here?
this one should be fine because the leaders can join it.
Ah, okay.
And TFN.
So I think we're gonna have an interview with who was
Senna.
it that was gonna join us?
Senna was coming in.
Senna. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he was in the main and pretty much all the games, I think. Yeah.
I can never remember if it's Maine or Minnesota. I get they're almost interchangeable.
I think I saw Camden in the Minnesota. And then Senna never changed ships because he never left the training room. I think he just left it at Maine. But like you were saying, Minnesota was a great pick for Crash Zone, and it was. It did really well.
Is he coming here?
Waiting for him to join up here.
So, just as out of curiosity, what's your pick for the painkillers versus Task Force Kraken?
Gotta go with my boys, man. But I will say that we've gone against Task Force Kraken before, and they're a sneaky team, man. You might be confident because of your accolades in the past, in games like that, and you come in, with confidence, as you should. You have things to back your confidence, but they're a team that we've gone against in Fleet Cup and lost. And they're just very, very sneaky strategies that, at least personally, I had never seen before. But you just can't count them out. They're unknown in terms of like what they do exactly, um until like you actually have to play against them, and then you see the strategy, looking back at it. But you can't, like, we played against SNA many times, we played against Hall Crushers many times, but there's a lot of teams that we've played against on numerous occasions. We haven't played against Task Force Kraken that much, but a lot of the strategies that they implement are so like just different. You have to be ready for anything with them. So you just
Yeah,
can't count them out. But my guys have done a great job, of preparing, and they do their homework. They're very diligent, and they don't take anyone lightly. So that's incredibly important for any team to go into these matches. Just not, who cares about accolades at that point? Like, it's you against them. That we've
yeah.
seen a lot of upsets these last few weeks. So
Relaney is in my chat here. I think he's gonna jump in with us.
okay.
Oh, and Senna is in the Alpha channel. I think we've got to switch rooms here.
Oh, it says he doesn't have the role, which is weird because I was told that he did. We can switch over to Alpha if you want.
Yeah.
Senna, my friend. Can you unmute, or is it a rule thing? Uh, yeah. Can you hear
Okay.
me, Sensei? Okay, cool. Make sure it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm here. Um, it looks like Relaney is also going to join here in a few minutes.
Okay.
Relaney, how we doing?
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, boss, how you doing, brother?
Not much. I see that's also Santa's here. Great play you guys did. We were really impressed.
So, well, very well played to you guys. That was an incredibly close match. My burning question here for you, um, why go with the Delaware on Crash Zone?
I'm not gonna reveal too much because of strats, but all I can say is that some of the ships we pick rely on spawns that we wish we want to get, but as you saw in the matches, that didn't happen. Unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
and we've been talking about this a little bit. The spawns are so unpredictable in those training rooms. It's hard to deal with a lot of the times. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Delaware in particular, and a lot of the you know hybrid battleships, they don't have as much ability to affect the match on a large open map like Crash Zone. Does that factor into your uh, decision making there, or is it, you know,
Yeah, it's a gamble when we hope, like, we're trying to get the certain spawns for certain ships. It's always a gamble. And probably Hulkrushers, they know this also, is that, you want the perfect ships in the perfect spots. Like,
Right.
they run a lot of Salem and Petro, and, you want them in the spots you want. And that just didn't happen for us, unfortunately.
I have one question for you, Relani.
Go ahead.
How did you get so damn good with Del? Holy Christ, dude!
Uh,
That first game was unbelievable.
Play a lot of Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. And
yeah,
also, if you probably watch the Oppo game, it's easier to predict cruisers and DDs where they're gonna go with the torp planes than a battleship.
really,
Interesting. I never heard that before.
Yeah. You'll realize it because battleships are big, chunky, slow. Torping them with the hybrid planes is kind of difficult. So all they gotta do is just slam the brakes and then turn, and then yeah, you miss the drop. But with DDs and cruisers, it's different.
I find that really interesting. I would not have expected you to say destroyers are
Yeah,
easier to predict.
Yeah, especially if they smoke up, because they don't see the torps and they don't see the planes.
that's a good point. Because then
But
you have an overhead view of where they're at when they smoke up,
mhm,
and then when your planes you can choose. So once they disappear, you pop your planes. They don't spot them, and then all of a sudden torpedoes are at your broadside.
mhm.
Wow, I
Yeah,
never even thought of
that's
that.
the deadly part. Yeah.
And you must love
I
hitting cruisers in smoke then, because that's probably even easier.
Mhm.
Okay.
I've got
That's
another question for you, Relani here. So in terms of the Delaware, would you consider it a necessary pick, or is that more of you're a kind of a ringer in Delaware, so why wouldn't you pick it?
I would say that's to each of their own. Like if you're really good in the ship, like if you can fully excel the ship, then go for it. Use it in comp. But if you're like some of our members in SNA who play multiple ships, like they don't play like one ship at a time. Like I think I have like 1,000 games in Louisiana. I think.
Already?
Honestly, no idea. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, if you have a shit ton of games in a specific type of class of ship, you kind of learn how to use it. It's like uh, it's like some players who play a lot of Russian BVs. They just know how to play that class of ships.
Right.
So Delaware's kind of the same. If you're really good at the ship, the flaws you don't even like notice it. Although I
Oh.
will say the reverse is atrocious.
Yeah. It's like the Titanic.
Yeah,
Jesus. It's like a cruise ship,
that's
man.
yeah. That's why sometimes you see me beach intentionally. It's because yeah,
It's just
it's
easier to.
intentionally. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so in terms of Louisiana versus Delaware, um, we saw that Louisiana was wildly overpowered in Super Cup,
Mm-hmm.
um, and most fleets agreed that it was kind of a must pick. If you're not playing Louisiana, you're leaving too much off of the board. Do you feel the same way about Delaware?
Uh, well, right now, if you get it in the perfect spot, yes. And then especially right now with the bug right now that fortunately it's gripping the game at the moment,
Right.
but that's another issue.
Yeah.
That the what bug is that?
Is with to rebuild and all the consumables.
Okay, yeah, I'm not actually super familiar with what that bug that is.
It's like the
So
first heal is like
currently,
super heal,
yeah.
basically. It's
Well, it's
disgusting.
pretty much yeah, no, pretty much what's happening is that all the consumables, their negative stat for the first use is not applying.
Ah,
So, for example, damage gone on Delaware it's supposed to be I think 14 seconds, and as you saw in the games, it was 20,
interesting.
and
Okay.
it was because it's not applying the negative stat.
Gotcha.
So if you have any ship skill that applies a negative stat on your consumable, it won't apply it on the first use.
Hmm.
Now I do know that Wargaming has said that they are aware of the bugs and they are working on it. Um, just for those who are watching. Uh, but yeah, it's always frustrating when things like that happen, and it's kind of out of our control, you know.
It's been
Yeah,
a while since something that blatant has happened too.
yeah, you can just blame Fox and Flare.
Right.
That's mainly the culprit.
Yeah.
Because because my theory is that they cheapened out on the coding, and that on the first when it starts on the stat bar, like it reduces the reload. My theory is that it has a plus and negative stat. Because in all the buffs in the game have a plus sign and a minus sign.
Hmm.
So my theory is that on Fox to Flare, both stats are in one column of the skill.
Oh, and then it
So it kind of
glitched it
yeah.
out.
So yeah. So like it just ignores all the other buffs below it, which is why I also say that it just which is why I say that why most skills are bugged right now because it only applies the first one. That's why damage con is like 20 seconds for us,
Gotcha.
and that yeah, that's our theory.
Well, listen, man. We're gonna talk to Senna now, but we want to thank you for your time. Great games. And I'm sure everybody that was watching learned a lot from how to actually play Delaware correctly. So great job, man.
Yeah, just play a shit ton of a certain chip and then you'll master it.
Absolutely.
It's like Connecticut. I got nerfed to the ground. It's unfortunate.
Because of you.
Yeah. Hey, at least Luciana didn't get touched, so I get to enjoy that for like a couple months.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we appreciate you
Take
hopping in
care.
here, Relay, and very well played to you and Shock and Awe. And we hope to see you in future tournaments.
Yeah. We're currently discussing if whether to participate in Winter Cup or not. We're on the fence on that one, but
Okay.
Yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
yeah. Let's just say if they don't touch the new CV, then yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I think Popcorn announced that it was banned for the new for Winter Cup anyways until they figured it out.
Was
Right.
that an official decision or is that
Yeah,
still on hold?
I
Okay,
believe it was.
I didn't know. All right then, see you guys.
All right, take care, homie.
All right, Senna, have we figured out mic issues here?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Hey, there
sir.
he is.
All right, let's get this party started.
First of all, how do you feel about this 3-1 win against SNA?
Well, it means a lot to us because we did lose that Tier 7 tournament game to them. So ever since then, every time we ran into them, just fallen just a little bit short by either by a point or by a game. So this one definitely means a lot to us.
I have to say I'm very impressed with the how much Hull Crushers have improved over the past few tournaments. I think you guys have done a really fantastic job of continuing to push yourselves, and it's showing.
Appreciate it.
What, just kind of elaborate on what he just commented on, Senna. What are some of the key factors that kind of allowed you guys to move forward? What's the driving factor for you?
It's just scrimmaging all the time, coming up with different like strategies, what ships to pick. Like Relaney was saying, it's like you want that perfect ship to be on that perfect spawn, but if it doesn't happen, the plan doesn't always go the way it goes when you're in the heat of battle, Like it's just a lot of good players on the team that can make decisions by themselves just by thinking off instinct. And it's just the team, really. It's just that instinct and that like looking at the map and seeing what needs to be done where. We're not even telling anybody what to do. They just do it. It's just the chemistry that we got that brought us all the way up to this part.
I know you guys were extremely active in the official Fleet Cup battles for the last Fleet Cup. Uh, do you think that's had any sort of impact on your competitive play?
Uh, I wouldn't say this. I wouldn't say so. The fleet battles, like the fleet cups, you mean, like with all like the little
Mm-hmm.
trophies that you get?
Yep.
No,
Yep.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, most of them we were just, I mean, we took 5 Jaegers one time. We kind of just mess around. But
Yeah, we know.
yeah, yeah, I mean, some of us sweats, and we do try hard, and we try and get as many trophies as we can. But as you know, putting it over into like an actual comp play, no, we don't really. Doesn't really help.
That first game, that you guys played didn't go as planned. I'm assuming, obviously, that's didn't get a single kill. But I mean, what was going through your guys' head after that first game when SNA just completely dominated and you guys came back that second game?
Deja vu all over again. We're like, oh shit, here we go. You know, morale was kind of down when we lost the game, but but the next game, that's right after that, and right after we got our first win, that's when morale went back up high, and we just like trekked forward after that. But yeah, that first one was, because they're kind of like a nemesis towards us. They
Mm-hmm.
beat us like before in the quarterfinals too. So same spot of like last year. So we know they're a great fleet to go up against.
Yep.
But
What
yeah, that
what
first
kind of
one.
adjustments did you guys make? Did you guys make any adjustments for that second game to go the way that it did?
Um, no, not really. I kind of just said screw it and I ran the flank, because I saw the Hayate. I saw where the Hayate was, and I'm like, well, he's not on the flank and he's not coming over to screw with me, and the Delaware's behind an island, so that Salem's all mine. So he pushed forward, allowing my buddy in the Petro to take care of him, and kind of had a little brawl battle with the Delaware.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it goes back to what you were saying, uh, scrimmaging all the time and being able to trust your players to make those kinds of calls. From our
Yeah,
perspective, that flank maneuver was the turning point in that game. I mean, it allowed you guys to take out the Salem and the Delaware, and control that entire flank for the rest of the game, and made a huge difference in terms of just overall map control.
yeah, yeah. Like I like to call it like tradition. There's like traditional play style, which is like DD spots, battleship shoots, radar cruiser radars. But when you get a battleship that's just like screw it, I'm just gonna go on the flank and mess everything up. Like that's when it really screws up everybody's games, and that's when like people got to make adjustments on the fly, like the enemy team wise anyway. And
Right.
that's what happened on that flank, and it was just like a domino effect, like because it just worked, and I kind of did the same thing on the third map too.
Now, I got to ask you the same question I asked Relaney, um,
Yeah.
about Delaware and Crash Zone. I noticed you guys switched away from the Delaware on Crash Zone. Why is that?
Well, I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy because I don't play Delaware. I know Cam plays the Delaware. He's got
Mm-hmm.
reasons why he doesn't pick that ship on that map. He never picked that ship on that map. There must be a good reason. I think if Cam was here right now, he'd probably say, "I can't throw planes at people," something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know that question. That
And
answer.
fortunately for you guys, Sensei had illustrated this right before the match started, and we've been talking about this the entire time. Is that you guys were able to mitigate the fact that Delaware for them spawned at Charlie, and you guys just made him not be useful at all in the match until a little later. But by then, that was too late. You guys had map control. You guys had the flanks, and then you capitalized on your flank by having your Petra go out wide because no DD was gonna challenge him out there. He was okay. Um, you know, going through and having your ship picks, and I was gonna ask you quickly. You picked Maine of all the tier 8 battleships that are in the game right now. Why
Yeah.
the Maine specifically?
I don't know, 'cause it's big and it's got got a lot of guns.
That's
And I can't
American,
hit.
Sensei. That's right there. It's
Yeah,
American.
I'm mostly. I mean, if you saw in the games, I'm mostly trying to hit DDs like that are roughly far away, and I can't hit shit in the Republic, and it's only got 6 guns. So the main, like Relaney was saying, does have that little will to rebuild bug. So I was kind of using that a little bit.
Yeah, you fucking cheater.
Hey, gotta pay
That's
to
good.
play. Gotta pay to play, buddy.
Well, that seems like a pretty good spot to wrap things up. Honestly,
Absolutely.
because I've got to get going here.
Yep.
My fleet's kind of waiting on me for the fleet cup battles here. So.
Yep. Go have fun, you Sensei.
But thanks for joining us, Senna, and
Thank you
congratulations
guys
on your
for all
win.
that you do.
And
Yeah, congrats,
really
Senna.
looking forward to the semifinals.
Oh yes, definitely.
All right, man. Have a good prep week, man, and we'll see you next weekend.
Thank you. See you guys later.
See ya, brother. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today. Be sure to like and sub if you haven't already, and join the TFN Discord. I will try to post it in the description here once I end the stream here. But just an amazing game. Final thoughts is, I had predicted it before the game started that Hulk was going to win 3-1. It was kind of a hesitant one because I could see it going 3-2. But, sometimes what I've noticed in the past is that SNA can be a little passive. And I'll be honest, they actually really weren't. Every game was just a back and forth, and the dominoes just laid in the favor of Hull Crushers. There really wasn't a game where I felt like one team was more aggressive than the other. I think it was just a back and forth, slap fest. Just super exciting. Like I said, I understand it's a 3-1 on the scoreboard. Doesn't look that great for SNA, but every game they competed, and they definitely went in really hard on both teams. Giggity. Both teams did, and then it was awesome. It was great action. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next weekend. Take care of yourselves. Be sure to give Sensei Wally a follow on Twitch, and we'll talk to you guys on the next time.